Space, the final frontier. Space Station Ashland sits on the edge of Federation space with its companion ship, the USS Dalamis Christian. The space around them is full of mystery and strange wonders, where secrets are kept and danger lurks around every corner. The crew of the Dalamis Christian must navigate treacherous waters as they work to protect the Federation. But as they peer into the unknown, they will discover that the line between friend and foe is not always clear. They will be tested like never before and will face challenges that will push them to their limits. Join us on this adventure as we explore the farthest reaches of space and uncover the hidden truths that lie within the shadows. Tabletop Journeys presents Star Trek Preservations. Last time on Star Trek Preservations.
Captain, the guards have not reported in as protocol.
Computer, where is Commander Janok?
Commander Janok is in his quarters.
Shall we, Mr. Major?
Indeed. All available security personnel are to meet us there.
You two and 3 security personnel are on your way to Janok's quarters. And when you get there, the door to his room is open, or is trying to close, but there's like a foot in the way, and 2 security guards are on the ground in the office, and his comm badge is on his desk in front of his terminal.
They're alive, sir.
I figured. Computer, identify all Vulcan life signs aboard my vessel, filtering for, and I rattle off my Vulcan crew.
The response back from the computer is that other than the Vulcan crew members, there are no Vulcans aboard the Dalamis Christian. Welcome, everybody, to what is episode 6 of season 2 of Star Trek Preservations. This is part 2 of the episode that we began last month, Fowlers in Wait. Let's go around the room and introduce everybody that we have on the show tonight. Commander, why don't you start?
Hi, everyone. I am Joe Harney, and I am playing Commander Sabian Tobor, the captain of the Dalamis Christian, USS Federation Saber-class starship, and Sabian is a joined Trill.
All right, and Mr. Executive Officer?
Yes, hi, I'm Adam Scaramella, and I portray Ocean Chazilwer, the Dalamis Christian's Andorian First Officer.
I appreciate you pronouncing his last name every time. That's very handy. I will never remember that, but that's okay. Mr. Tanari, why don't you go?
Hey, I'm David Rideout. I'm playing Lieutenant Avidian Tanari, the Dalamis Christian's Andorian engineering officer, and currently wondering what to do with this HAL 9000 edition that Starfleet wants me to add to the computer.
Perfect, yeah. You can't do that, Dave. All right, and Miss Narila, you.
Hello, I'm Lacey Knutson, and I'm playing Lieutenant Narila Nealon, our ambitious scientist on the system.
I love it. So, since this is a part 2, let's take a quick opportunity for Narila and Sabian and Ari. Let's just review what you believe happened last week, and if there's anything that out of game warrants clarification, I will take this opportunity to make sure that not too many red herrings are foiling you. So, who remembers what happened last? Sabian, I see you raising your hand. Why don't you go right ahead?
I'll go ahead and start. So we started off the episode in the brig, having some long, somewhat fruitful conversations with the Commander Janok, who evidence from the previous investigation found that he was the conduit individual that was passing off the stolen weapons technology plans to some third party unknown. And he was very circuitous about who he was working for and seemed to imply that it was someone in Starfleet intelligence apparatus of some sort and that all this would get worked out at some point behind the scenes. After Glenn doing his Beta Z emotional reading, we decided to bait a trap and see if he would actually behave, and we let him out and put him under close confinement in quarters, giving him some limited access to try and do some investigative searches on that. In the meantime, we were flying to a planet that had been attacked by what would apparently be some version of this subspace weapon. It was inside a nebula cloud communication blocking natural phenomenon. We arrived, and there was the Starfleet tug ship is there. Mm-hmm. And so they were working with the local planetary government. Dave and I went over to the tug to have a meeting and dinner, at which point we discovered that one of the two individuals had a Epsilon parasite creature in them. However, insanity did not ensue immediately upon the discovery, and we were able to leave the ship unmolested, at which point Tobor, following the Epsilon Protocol directives, ordered the Delamas Christian out of the nebula and out of range, and while flying out, we detained the two individuals for further questioning by transporting them off the ship into our brig, and has since sent the infected individual to medical for scans and stasis control. We have just exited the nebula phenomenon, probably to connect with Commander Ocean's shuttlecraft.
That is a fabulous rundown of what happened last night. I see no need to alter or clarify anything that you have said there. I think that everything from Sabian's perspective, that would match exactly what I would assume Sabian to understand. I would say the one clarification, so the Federation tug, the Temporary, was the name of that ship. And just to go ahead and in full disclosure, you did beam these individuals off of the Temporary without saying anything. You did just surreptitiously beam them and then GTFO. So
I did send the captain of the Temporary like a, sorry, we abducted your guests.
He seems like a very accommodating and very polite individual. So,
yeah, and I'm like, I got to go make a phone call. I'll be back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Perfect. Tanari, anything that you wish to add or clarification questions that you have on that front?
I do not know.
Actually, there is one thing that I would like to go ahead and clarify on that, because the very important detail that you left out was how the episode ended, the cliffhanger that episode 5 ended on. Do you not remember? You seem confused.
Yes, we had an alert that Janok had escaped, and
yes,
the security was found unconscious in his quarters.
Correct. So you had sent him to his quarters with 2 red-shirted security personnel. You had noticed that the activity that he had been working on surreptitiously stopped. You tried to contact him. He was unavailable. When you went to the quarters where he was being detained, the 2 security personnel were knocked out in the doorway. Janok was gone. And the way that the episode ended specifically was Sabian asking the computer for the location of any Vulcan non-members of the crew on board, to which the computer of the Delamas Christian reported that there were none. That is where we pick up tonight. As I said earlier in our pre-show, we're keeping our threat and momentum where they were at the end of last episode. You guys currently have 2 momentum. I have 5 threat. I am spending 2 of those threat immediately. And that threat is going to be, largely for things that are going to happen after Janok has been found not to be in his quarters. Sabian, what would you have done when Janok was found not to be in his quarters and seemingly either not on the ship or not being found by the ship?
So I would cycle through all the other protocols. Okay, computer, identify all known members of the crew and the 2 in the infirmary, filter for those. Mm-hmm. What other show me any life sign, life form readings aboard the ship that is not accounted for.
The computers would say that there are 4 life signs on the ship that do not match the crew manifests.
Like, I walk over to the desk terminal, I'm like, display and show me location and types of life sign?
When we were talking originally, you'd said that of the two Zunians that you had beamed on board, that you had determined that one of them had some sort of a nascent Epsilon species within it. The other one did not. The one that did have the species has been basically put into medical stasis and sent to medbay.
Yeah.
Fabulous. And the other one still remains under security detention?
Yep.
Okay. So what you would find is that there are two in medbay, there is one in detention, and there is one, as you would expect, moving right now through various parts of the ship. Probably finding, because Epsilon Protocol is in effect on the ship, probably finding bits that are protected by force field and everything like that, and going down passageways and everything like that. And then what you would find is, so again, with the threat expenditure coming up, basically what you would find is that eventually that signal just stops.
Like, where did it stop?
It stopped in a hallway on one of the decks.
So I'll initiate full security lockdown protocol. Like force fields everywhere.
Yep.
And the life sign before it disappeared?
Mm-hmm. It didn't disappear, it stopped. So
right, but before it stopped, what was it showing us? Was it showing us a Vulcan? Was it showing us a changeling? Was it showing us something else?
Sure. Yeah, it was not showing Vulcan. It was not showing changeling. It was showing Romulan.
I see.
Tanari, where are you right now?
I believe I was told to go to engineering, so I'm in main engineering.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You are beginning to receive. So, what are you doing in engineering? What are you doing?
Probably my standard duties, as well as whatever extras required to make sure that the ship is functioning properly in the unique environment of the nebula. Yep.
So probably conceivably walking around engineering, doing engineering-y things with a pad in hand sort of thing. As you are doing that, you begin getting routine messages. These are messages that kind of travel throughout the ship anyway. You have seen, when you've been under Epsilon Protocol before, while external messages, ship or to the ship, don't travel forward, internal messaging within the ship generally doesn't have a problem. And these are messages that you probably have set up with an auto filter to go ahead and go into a to be read later folder, because it is detailing members of your teams and their security credentials are being changed by Najar.
At which point, like, red alert goes off, right? Like security lockdown.
Tanari's in engineering, so unless you're with him, Sabian, that's...
Well, but, like, I order the ship to red alert and security lockdown.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, fair enough. Yep. And I think the part that I had... So after you guys had realized that Janok had left his quarters, Najar basically said, we'll mobilize security teams, we'll find him, we'll figure out what's going on kind of thing. And Najar had said, I have some information. He remembered some information that Tanari had sent him and was going to go to his quarters to go ahead and investigate.
I do a quick tap to Najar and say, he's a Romulan. I give him the update.
Yep. There is no answer when you tap your badge.
Basically, what you're describing to me is I'm watching in real time as someone is changing the security level clearances of the engineering crew.
In very strange ways, yeah. Like, all of a sudden, somebody on your team no longer has access to Turbo Lift 4, and somebody else on your team who'd had their holodeck privileges revoked for some reason or another all of a sudden has them again, that sort of thing. Seemingly low-level, inopportune stuff. One person will get access to the captain's ready room, for example. One person will get their access to a shuttle bay is denied now, something like that.
All right, I'll tap my comm badge.
Mm-hmm.
Tanari to Lieutenant Najar.
There is no answer.
Try one more time just to be sure.
There's still no answer.
Tanari to Commander Tobor.
Or,
Sir, is Lieutenant Najar on board?
yes, why?
I just tried to contact him and he wasn't responding. Something is changing some of the security clearances of the engineering crew.
God damn it, it's Janok. Computer. Lock out all computer control core functions except for my own. Authorization Tobor 2885.
And this wouldn't be in the nice Major Barrett voice. It would be in the Commodore Pritchard voice.
All associated command functions disabled. Restoration may only be authorized by Commander Sabian Tobor. Authorization 2885.
Very good. DC, you're aware of what's going on? We have a Romulan infiltrator attempting to steal Epsilon Protocol. If you must, eliminate him with the prejudice required by Epsilon Protocol.
Confirmed.
So I'm gonna head to the computer core.
Okay.
With the security team. Once we rouse the two that have been nerve pinched.
Yep.
Wake up.
Yeah. Security personnel's X and Y have been awakened.
So, Mr. Tenari, he has done something that has taken him off of internal sensors. Please try and counteract whatever he has done or uploaded into the system to make himself invisible and find me, Janok.
Confirmed, Captain. We'll get him located.
How would you like to do that, Tenari?
All right. First of all, let's see if we can't identify what he's done to the computer.
Talk to me more about that. When you say what he's done to the computer, you give me your theory, and then we'll test it to see if it works out. Because I want to make sure that I understand where you're going with that.
I want to basically compare the baseline settings for the sensors and the security systems of the computer to what they're set at now. Run a program to see what's changed in the past, say, half hour.
That sounds fabulous. So what you get is a list of, 20 or 25 security credentials which have been, or security settings, not even credentials necessarily, but security settings which have been changed within the last 30 minutes. These would be credentials which would certainly be which would be something that could be changed from the Chief of Security's terminal with their authorization.
Okay. What about any changes to the sensors?
There have been no changes to the sensors.
Okay.
Yep.
So whatever he's doing to make himself invisible, he didn't do it to the ship.
And Narila, you would also notice as science officer, you are also starting to get notifications like that members of your team are having their security credentials changed also.
Josh, real quick, would I know like this kind of change has to be done from...
It doesn't necessarily have to be done from Najar's office, right? Because I mean, these are nothing that's being changed here is like a high level change, right? So it wouldn't have to be done from by his office, but it would definitely have to be authorized to have done this. So it would have to be it would have to be a terminal that was already open and probably would require probably not voice authorization because again, they're low level changes, but certainly would have required his comm badge would have had to be in proximity to the terminal and all that sort of stuff.
I tap my badge. Mr. Tenari?
Yes, sir?
Can you tell me from what terminal these authorization protocols were changed?
All right, let me do a search to find out where the changes were made.
Sure. Yeah, this will be a 0 difficulty challenge to go ahead and see if you can pull that information. You are trying to access the Chief of Security's logs, which sometimes requires some tweaking around. So,
Do you want me to go ahead and roll, or?
Yeah, it's a 0 difficulty challenge. So basically, this is an opportunity for you to get momentum and for me to get through it.
Okay.
So, bit of trait, and then make your roll.
I'll assume since we're doing this in a hurry, it'd be the daring engineering.
Yep.
And because I'm checking this out on the computer, my computer focus.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay. One success.
Yep. Okay, that's enough to gain a momentum. As long as any complications?
Not unless the complication range is 16.
Nope. You gain a momentum, and you are able to determine that these changes came from the terminal in Najar's quarters, which certainly tracks with where Najar said that he was heading.
Captain, it appears the changes were made in Najar's quarters.
Security personnel all converge on the quarters.
And sure enough, you get to Najar's quarters and find him unconscious on the floor. And he seems more badly injured than the other personnel that you had found before. He doesn't seem to be responding to normal hypospray and stuff. So he will be sent to med bay.
Get him to med.
Yep.
I flip open a tricorder and I go for a Romulan DNA scan.
Sure. Yeah, give me... you're a scientist at heart, right? Sure, give me a 1 difficulty challenge to go ahead and see if the tricorders are able to pick up on trace DNA.
Where is my character sheet? Insight science?
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Okay. 8 and a 3, so 2 successes.
Fabulous. All right. So another momentum for you all. Okay. Yeah, you're able to find small traces of Romulan DNA on the keyboard of the terminal, probably still some in the ventilation shaft, that kind of thing.
Nothing like I could feed into the computer to like find him.
Right.
Physically. I'll sit down at the terminal and call it back up and look back over what's been done since it was accessed.
Yep. So you're able to go ahead and see the list of crew maneuvers. It's the same crew maneuvers. There are also a series of messages which are in the Epsilon protocols, but basically sitting in the outbox, waiting for Epsilon protocol to be lifted. It's a variety of messages that seemingly go to random people and seeming just to have a bunch of random strings of text.
So those messages I'll shoot to Neelon, check these, figure out what they mean. They're in the outbox for a reason.
And again, you do know that when the ship is under Epsilon protocol, that no messages will generally leave. So that's why they're in the outbox as far as what their meaning is. We'll get to that check in just a second, really.
My character's smarter than me.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the list, can I get any insight as to why, like what the pattern is, why were changed like this?
I will certainly let you make me like an insight command roll to determine if there is either actually probably reason command maybe in this case, maybe not insight.
Works for me.
I don't know. Yeah, let's do reason command to go ahead and determine if there is any pattern to the changes.
Excellent. Difficulty?
Again, we'll call this one difficulty 2, because again, it's like you're a little bit of a fishing expedition, so 2 will be your standard difficulties.
Fair enough. I will buy a die with momentum.
I like it.
Can I use Starfleet Protocol? Because if you're changing all these things to gain access to some place in the ship.
The problem is the access that has been granted is all over the place, so that's not really going to gain. It's not a protocol type situation.
Okay, let me make the roll. Because I think I have
a roll, and then we'll go from there. And then I will certainly let you.
I have a theory. It must be bunnies. 11, 6, and 18, so 2 successes.
2 successes. All right. So you got your 2 successes. There's a 2 difficulty challenge. So talk to me, and I will tell you if you're right.
Very good. So I'm looking at this. It looks like a bunch of stuff, but there is 2 crew members who shouldn't have access to Shuttle Bay 3. Crewman Gordon Thorpe and Zulmarsh Mevin, right?
Correct. Yes.
I want the computer to locate both of them for me.
Yep. They are, let's see, I have to look and see what department they are. They are where they would be expected to be.
So with the 2 successes, is there seeming to be, because that was my thing, is trying to figure out how he'd get off the ship.
Yep. The question that you're specifically asking was if there's a pattern here. And as you're looking through here, it really looks like basically what you're looking at is department by department, except for the command department, alphabetical list of the people that are in that department. And there are people that were skipped over, but like if you look at Con, the first 4 people on the list are in Con. If you look at, or the first 7 people, I guess, they're all like piloty roles, right? Mm-hmm. If you look at the next thing, what's the next one? It might be security, I think, is next.
Yes.
So it's by rank. So you have officers and then enlisted sort of thing. So this looks like basically somebody copy and pasted the duty roster, put the names in a list, and then started going down it and making changes.
But is there, like, the changes, is there any, like, logic behind the changes?
No, there doesn't seem to be, like, it seems like the permissions that were changed were seemingly done at random.
first thing I will do is...
And to be deceptive. Actually, I will give you that too, because it was a 2 difficulty challenge. It was not only... It was done to be deceptive, as in you are looking in the right thing, as in there's something weird about this list, but it's not. There wasn't like a pattern. It was done to be deceptive about what is actually happening.
So first thing first is I will tell the computer to reset all of those to time index 8 before this, all of these. So
right.
At least undo them.
Under Epsilon Protocol, security position measures need to be authorized by the Chief of Security. You're captain of the boat. So it's currently asking, and Najjar, I'm assuming you've reported to the computer that at this point that Najjar is basically unavailable, right?
Yes. It also can sense he's like unconscious.
Epsilon Protocol is beginning to go ahead and rewrite these permissions to go ahead and change them back through. Yep. It is reporting that several of the people on the list are actively doing the task. They need the access to be doing the thing that they're currently doing. There's somebody in like one of the Veoli Wenkern as a security person is on the bridge currently. Can't revoke his permission to the bridge since he's on the bridge. That kind of thing as security personnel.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying what Curran?
Yeah, and nothing that seems unusual, but more just like you can't currently restrict their privilege because they're actively doing the thing that they're supposed to be doing where the permission was granted.
But if he's a security personnel, why would he have originally not had access to the bridge?
Yeah. Good question. Maybe it was like switched and switched back, something like that, but this is the most recent stuff that was changed. So
I'm going to go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to spend. Can I spend momentum for additional information?
Sure, absolutely. Yep.
I'm going to go back in the logs till we let Janok into his quarters.
Mm-hmm.
And what, if any, changes have been made.
Nope, these are the only changes that they have been reported. Actually, one additional change is showing up, and that's that one of the people on the list had a name change.
And who to who?
Zumrush Mevin had their name changed. Their last name was not originally Mevin. And that is one of the people that you saw had Shuttle Bay access granted.
Shuttle Bay access. And according to the computer, where is he now?
He is, according to the computer, one of the shuttles belonging to the Delamas Christian has come within proximity of the ship, and basically Shuttle Bay crews have been summoned to the Shuttle Bay, but under Epsilon Protocol, there's like a waiting prompt for you to figure out what to do. You've just been occupied doing other things to receive.
But we've got a third Shuttle Bay? I thought we just had 1 and 2 in the front. But cool.
We'll change that to, we'll call Shuttle Bay 3 Shuttle Bay 2 then. Like that's
yeah.
Yeah, when Josh was randomly generating the image, maybe he gave you more hollow suites than there either. Yeah,
exactly. So, okay.
I'm a storyteller. I can create Shuttle Bays. It's magic. But yeah, like now that when you ask where he is, it says, oh, they're in Shuttle Bay 2. When you prompt why are they in Shuttle Bay 2, it's because a shuttle has now appeared off the bow of the Delamas Christian. And the Delamas Christian is reporting that it is one of the generic shuttles with one life sign on board. It is a shuttle that Commander Ocean had.
All right, very good. I will commute comm badge to Mr. Zumrush, or crewman Zumrush.
You hear the shuttle bays are fairly loud places, a lot of cargo and stuff like that going on. And so, Shuttle Bay 2.
Zumrush, this is the captain.
Hi, sir.
Why are you in Shuttle Bay 2?
I'm a Shuttle Bay technician.
Is he, Josh?
Good question. Hold on one sec. Now I have to look and see where the crew manifest was and see where I grabbed him from.
There's so many lies that you can't keep straight of them.
I believe he's listed as engineering.
We have a Zumrad Kakar. Yeah. Is that who? The name change? The name change?
Was that...
I think it is because he was listed over Peter Marikov.
Yep. I think so. It was first name and last name were both changed apparently. Although, let me just double check one thing. Yep. He's in engineering. Yeah, not unusual for engineers to work in the shuttle bay. Maybe not typical, but not unusual for them, especially where your shuttle bays also do double as cargo bays and stuff like that. Not unusual for engineering folks to be working out there for any variety of reasons.
Hold one, crewman. Double tap over to Tanari. Mr. Tanari?
Yes, sir?
Is crewman Zoomrush supposed to be assigned to Shuttle Bay 2 at this time?
Check the assignment log, is he?
So that's a good, as the department leader, that's a great question. What would you currently be having engineering doing?
We're not necessarily in a combat situation, so engineers would not necessarily be in damage control positions. Yep. And one of his foci is heavy equipment maintenance. So it's not unreasonable for him to be in.
Tell you what then. I'm going to spend a threat and say yes.
Okay. Yes, he was assigned for maintenance in the shuttlecraft bay today.
Because I'm looking at the logs that Janok changed, and he's granted access to the shuttle bay. But that means it was not previously granted, which doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. Why would an engineer not be granted access to the shuttle bays?
Exactly.
Ocean, as you approach the Delamas Christian, you are probably sending out your normal docking request, or not docking request, but normal arrival plans and everything like that. And it's as if your messages aren't actually sent. It's you can see normally on the messenger, you get the little blue check mark that says that the message has actually been received on the other side. That you're not getting the blue check mark. You're sending the messages. They're leaving the shuttlecraft, but there definitely seems to be something not going through.
Having an inkling of what that could be, I'm going to do two things. One, I'm going to make sure my phaser is ready, and I'm also going to start scanning around the area for any incoming ships.
Sure.
Any ships that are located, basically anything that I can find with the limited resources that I currently have.
Sure. Yeah, so there'd be certainly some things that you could learn here. Why don't you give me like a 2 difficulty sensor reading type thing, and then depending on the level of success, you may be able to get some additional information.
Okay, so that would be control and con, 2 difficulties, so yeah. I will spend a momentum.
Maybe insight con. Yeah, I'd say insight con, or interpret navigational data. That's reason con.
So. Reason con, okay. All right, so I'm going to spend a momentum for an extra die.
All right.
And I think I can reroll one of those. I can. Okay. Let's see. 2 successes.
2 successes. Okay, so not enough to gain any additional momentum, but enough to satisfy the challenge. You do see, so the scanners do report that there was warp engine activity basically within the last hour. The warp signature does match the warp signature of the Delamas Christian. Basically, the Delamas Christian only got here briefly ago.
On the screen, and I tap the check mark in the communications from Ocean. DC, can you open a direct site-to-site LiDAR-based short-range communication with the shuttlecraft?
Communications are currently blocked by Epsilon Protocol. Would you like to override?
Negative. Lock on to Commander Chilzarer and beam him to security.
Transporter function is currently locked by Epsilon Protocol. Would you like to override?
Yes. Override Epsilon Protocol, lock on transporters, Tobor, Alpha 2 Delta, Gamma 77.
Okay. It's not going to be something that you can voice authorize, but with the experience that you have had learning about Epsilon Protocol, you can hack into part of the code to go ahead and see if it'll give you a workaround. This is going to be a fairly difficult check to make. There's possibility of it going wrong. So I'm going to say probably a 3 difficulty check, but it's going to have a complication range of 3.
So this seems like it's going to be, normally it'd be reason security, right?
see, reason security, identify participants, devise a battle plan. For actually doing the work, I'm gonna say it's almost like it's engineering. I'd say maybe reason engineering or insight engineering. I'll let you pick between the two.
I'll take reason engineering. I'm going to spend momentum to use my talent, did the reading, because of course I've been reading up on all this.
Sure.
I will use, instead of my engineering score, I will use my science score.
I like it.
And I will have for the duration of the scene, I will have a focus on Epsilon Protocol systems.
I like it. Okay.
So then that is 3 difficulty.
Yep, 3 difficulty
and a die with threat. 13, 14, 14, so 3 successes.
Woohoo! Okay, so you get the 3 successes. That's a very good roll. And where is he being beamed?
Standing right next to me in the security office.
Ocean, you are beamed out of your shuttlecraft and materialize in a room in the Delamas Christian. You've maybe never been there before.
Actually, I will have it transport him onto the seat, because I'm pretty sure he's sitting down.
I was wondering how that worked, actually, because can the teleporters, like, manipulate them in flight for their posture? Anyway, neither here nor there. You are all of a sudden sitting at a desk on the Delamas Christian behind a security terminal.
Yeah, actually, I would not have been sitting, because I would have been moving around the cabin. So I'm probably standing right in front of in the chair. And given that this is not supposed to happen, I have the phaser in one hand and the Ushan in the other, and I'm expecting trouble.
Yep.
I relax when I see where I am, and it's only the captain.
Expecting trouble, Commander?
I put the Ushan away, and then after a moment's pause, the phaser. Given that my communication hadn't gone through, I made the assumption that Epsilon was in...
It is, but for a different reason. Commander Janok is actually a Romulan. I spin around the table pad thing and show him the list. He has disabled Lieutenant Najar and made these security protocol changes, which don't make any sense. I'm hoping you and your experience can make some sense of this to me.
So I start looking at the list, trying to do the same sort of mental math that you were doing earlier, trying to figure out if there's a pattern or if anything like that.
Yep.
And as I do that, it may be something deeper. The pair at the space station was working with an individual by the name of Bradley Smith. He is somebody who is a specialist in quantum pathway deletion processes, shorthand for basically high-tech ways to hide intrusion. It's entirely possible that this is a ruse. I assume that we've already started checking for other changes.
We have, these are the ones that came to the surface, but you might have better, by all means, dig deeper, see if you can find changes that he's hidden underneath these changes or what.
I would say that the initial challenge that Tobor did that basically said that there's no kind of pattern to the names of the things, that this is what you would do if you were trying to obfuscate something else. So it's basically randomized. Would still hold true unless you want to try to go ahead and dig into... You, perhaps, as XO of the boat, have some particular knowledge that may yield you some additional information, but basically, if you're satisfied with that answer, then you don't need to go ahead and make any additional challenge, since he's already made the challenge. I'm not going to try to double dip on it.
No, I may be looking for additional pieces of information, like cross-checking bunk assignments, cross-checking past excursions, specialties, just to see if there are any patterns there. But I suspect that it's already been checked.
The only other thing, again, that stands out is that one of the crew members actually had their name changed. It's like the name that was assigned to their badge was changed, and that's about halfway down. Crewman First Class Zermrush Mevin has a different name. They're an engineering crewman, and their name was changed. So,
what was it changed from?
It was changed from Zumrada Kokar. They're a human, and they are in engineering. They have a heavy machinist focus, and so they routinely work in the shuttle bay. As you're continuing to poke through Najar's terminal, I'm going to give you guys one other piece of information, just because I had an awful lot of fun making the graphic. You will note that before all of these changes were made, Najar was reviewing another piece of it. He was reviewing a report that Tanari had sent him. He had basically the report was open. But now that you are looking at the report, basically the underlying log data that you pulled from the station around Celtech 4 has been corrupted, and the report can't properly compile it. It seems to have some bearing on what was going on, but the underlying data is corrupted.
This is something that Tobor hadn't seen before, so I would share it with him.
As you're looking through to go ahead and see, as you're going back, that this is a document, this is a report that had been accessed, but you're looking at you're looking at the PowerPoint document that's built on the spreadsheet, but now somebody has messed up the spreadsheet, so the PowerPoint document is messed up.
I'm going to see if I can have the computer de-encrypt this data using the change in the crew member's name as some sort of pseudo key.
Ooh, I love that. I will happily let you make a 3 difficulty challenge to make that happen. See if you can. The computer's taxed right now. Yep.
All right. What are we at for? We have no momentum, do we? So
maybe like an insight engineering or something like that, or
yeah, I'll shoot for that. Insight engineering. I'm going to spend a threat to get an extra die.
I like it. I'm going to say that this is a situation where the computer can't help you because you're trying to tell the computer to do something. You're trying to program the computer in a way to go ahead and do something that's unusual, but so the computer can't help you do that.
Yep, that's fair. Don't get that. I do have focuses in security systems, and I don't think Epsilon detection investigation would come into play, but security systems might. Let's see what
security systems might. Yeah, I'll give you security systems.
Okay, what do we got? 3 dice. Wow, 4, 4, 8, which is not enough for a critical. It is enough for 3 successes, but not enough for any.
Fabulous. The computer is now crunching what you're asking it to crunch, and it did not immediately reject it and say no.